There's a difference between change and a shift. A change is not so much geared to anything specific. A change can just be a change. It doesn't have to be anything positive. It doesn't have to be anything inspirational, okay? A change could be I'm going through changes. We go through changes that we're over 40, right? The over 40 crew. Changes happen, but shifts are intentional. A shift is a type of change, but not all changes are shifts. I want to talk tonight a little bit about changing perspective, going from a poverty mindset, going from a scarcity mindset. And to give a little bit of context to this, I was a teen mom twice over. I was married at 19, married for 8 years, and then I became a divorced single mom. And so there were times that things were rough and challenging, and I had to make some hard decisions. Even actually, while I was married, I had to make some hard decisions because I started college while I was married. And my husband at the time was applying for his green card, so he couldn't legally work. So there was a lot of factors also into that young marriage at the time, married at 19. But if I would have let the system, the same system that helped me, if I would have let that same system keep me in a box, keep me in a cycle, I would not be where I am today. Do I live in a mansion? No. Do I drive a Rolls Royce? No. But I know I'm not where I used to be, and I'm continuing to work on mindset to get me and my family above the poverty line. And so, for example, there was a time I remember I was just starting my college career and I got a letter saying, we're going to cut you off of assistance if you don't stop going to school. And I was like, absolutely not. Did I know how I was going to make it at the time? No. You are looking at a woman who got here through faith, okay? Especially after being divorced. I got here with 4 boys, okay? 4 boys. Um, and I got here through faith. And there was a time I just remember being nervous to grow professionally, being nervous because of a raise, because I knew my rent would go up, because I knew that there would come some mess where, oh, you're going to lose assistance. I remember the time I found out that I had to start paying for my kids' school lunch, when I had to start paying for health insurance, all that stuff. But guess what? There are rewards that come with that. And we have to just change the perspective on, I might lose assistance, or I might, you know, I am still sitting here today. And every fear that tried to come, that tried to stop me, was just that, a figment of my imagination. I really want to encourage somebody today. Don't stay stuck in the scarcity mindset. Make a shift in your life. Make a shift. I remember I didn't even want to go to college. I didn't want, like, I was a teen mom twice, so I graduated with my second son in my belly, and I was done with school. I did not want to go back to school. But when I started working in these jobs, and one of the last jobs that I had, and I was training the manager that was brought in by Family Connection, I was like, oh no, I don't have any connections. I got to go to school. I'm not telling everybody to go to school, but I'm telling you what I did and what I felt like I had to do to bring my family up out of poverty. And still growing, still paying things off, still learning things financially, because I was financially illiterate. Okay, and financially illiteration will cost you. Is that a word, alliteration? Financial illiteracy will cost you for decades to come. Thank God recently, I got student loan forgiveness, and that removed a heavy, heavy burden off of me. And it made me, and I remember somebody back in the day saying, oh, you went to school, and now look where it got you. And I just always remember, like, my heart sunk when I heard that. Like, how dare you? Like, how could you even say that? And I'm so glad that God is faithful, because when I first applied for the loan, public service loan forgiveness, I don't believe my institution was that, like, they changed the rules, is what I'm saying. So I applied by faith, and I'm glad I did, because I got notification that I needed to submit paperwork, blah blah blah. And here we are in the end of 2004, beginning of 2024 and 2025, and I have student loan forgiveness, over $100,000 forgiven. Y'all, I could get up and shout and dance right now, but it's after 1 o'clock and I need to be in bed. But I just want to tell you, like, and I also, let me tell this little testimony. So it's not even a little testimony. When I got divorced and I got my first, my associate's degree, I could not find a job. Or was it after my bachelor's? Might have been after my bachelor's. Yes, after my bachelor's, I could not find a job. And I knew I didn't want to move until I had a full-time job as well. So I wanted to move out of my current situation, but I knew I wanted a full-time job, not being on contract, etc., etc. So I had finally, after a year and a half, y'all, and I'm talking about broke. Talk about scarcity. I'm talking about broke. Going through all my pocketbooks trying to find change to even just put gas in the car. Okay, like going through it. Um and I finally got a call back from one of my old supervisors. This is why you got to keep your name good and just do good work ethic. So even as a worker, a student worker, I performed professionally. Like I took it seriously. And my supervisor at the time called me and said, hey, my former supervisor, I should say, called me and gave me a job lead. And it was a part-time contract. It was a 6 month, I think 6 month contract. And here I am, divorced with 4 kids, but I took it. After not being able to find a job, I found a job full-time. I'm getting mixed up here. So I finally found a full-time job that was a half an hour away. And then my supervisor calls me and tells me about this 6 month contract. So I left the full-time job that I was waiting for, like finally got a full-time job, and I left it to get my foot in the door on a contract. And that has led me to where I am now. Actually, I did that job for maybe a year and a half. And then I just hit my 13th year at the job that I'm at now. But imagine if I would have never taken that step of faith, that leap of faith, actually. What if I would have let fear stop me? And since then, I have the job that I have actually has a tuition benefit, not just for my children, but for me. And I was able to obtain my master's degree. I paid for half my master's degree at Quinnipiac. It's pretty expensive. So that I'm glad is now part of my student loan forgiveness. But God was able to bless me with a job that had a tuition benefit, not just for my children, but for me. And so I just wanted to give that little testimony. So I know what it feels like to be in a tough situation and already feeling like things are scarce. So we move in this scarcity mindset, but we have to start taking leaps of faith. We have to start making little steps, get out of the boat and trust God. No, we don't know everything that's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or the next year. But we have to pray, sometimes fast, however you fit that into your faith walk, faith journey. We are to pray and fast. When you pray, when you fast, the scripture says when you do these things, and just trust God. I believe God. I feel like I believe God. Hey, I feel like dancing, y'all. Church was so good tonight. Maybe I need to go to sleep because it's 1:40 in the morning. What am I doing? But I want to encourage somebody tonight. I want to encourage somebody to get out of the boat and not let fear stop you. Okay? Have a shift, not just a change, but an intentional shift in direction in your mindset. And 2 things I heard tonight back to back, and it's crazy because I was listening to a live by Trent Shelton, and he said, we got to stop focusing on all these negative things. And you know what? And then my pastor said the same thing. But what came to me after the conclusion of hearing both of those things, even just one of God's blessings and care for us, things that he does for us, just one of those things is bigger than 10 things that are going wrong. Balanced up, it is never strong. God is always stronger than whatever we have going on in our life. So show your problems how big your God is. Don't tell your problems. Don't tell God, oh, I can't do this. No, trust God and he will make a way for you. So God bless. This is supposed to be a short video because I'm supposed to be in bed. But here we are again. And I thank God for helping you with your shift. God bless.